I don't care what anyone says. Any pitcher that earns a $300 million contract after only being an all-star 3 times is elite to me. How you guys doing? It is July 6, 2020 out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. And for this episode of The Elite, I was going to do a profile on Gerrit Cole, the 29-year-old starting pitcher who most recently signed a $300 million deal to play with the New York Yankees, the largest contract in Major League history for a pitcher at this very moment. Who knows? There could probably be 4 people with much richer contracts by the time someone actually listens to this. But who knows? For this moment, it's Gerrit Cole, and for now, we're going to bask in his glory. So to give you a little bit of background, Newport Beach, California kid, originally drafted out of college in the 2011 overall draft. He was selected by the Pittsburgh Pirates with the first overall pick. He eventually was promoted to the Pirates to the MLB in 2013. His first season in Pittsburgh, he finished with a 10-7 record, 3.22 ERA, and 117 innings pitched. And in those innings pitched, he only allowed 109 hits. He struck out 100, and he was the leading pitcher on that Pirates team as they went on to be second in the NL Central. They would win the NL wild card against the Reds, and then they lose 3-2 to the Cardinals in 2013. But that was his first season in Philly. But he was definitely starting to be recognized as a pitcher that can get stuff done. His second year, his age 23 season, he finished with an 11-5 record with a 3.65 ERA. And in the 138 innings he pitched, he allowed 127 hits, and he also finished with 138 strikeouts. I like that he had less hits than innings pitched for the second years in a row, and he has as many strikeouts as innings pitched. I mean, that's where he starts to get incredibly impressive. And in 2014, the Pirates finished second in the NL Central again, but they would go on to lose in the NL wild card to the Giants. In 2015, Gerrit Cole's age 24 season, he would finish with a 19-8 record that would earn him his first All-Star bid, naturally. He would finish with a 2.60 ERA, starting in 32 games, finishing with 208 innings, allowing 183 hits in that span. He's still finishing with 202 strikeouts. Not more strikeouts than innings, but that's still 200 strikeouts in a season. In addition to being an all-star, he was 19th in MVP voting, and he was 4th in Cy Young voting. At this point, yeah, like the MLB has started to recognize Gerrit Cole as an all-star, but we'll see. But the question is it going to continue into this? In 2015, his third year on the Pirates, they finished second in the NL Central yet again, but they lost the National League wild card to the Cubs. And once again, whoosh, they were sent back down, back to start from square one. In his age 25 season in 2016, Gerrit Cole finished with a 7-10 record with a 3.88 ERA. In the 116 innings that he pitched, he allowed 131 hits and he had 98 strikeouts. Wasn't necessarily the season he had before, but just looking at those, he had a shortened season. I imagine he had some sort of injury. But the next season he bounced right back. In his age 26 season, 2017, he would finish with a 12-12 record. He'd go on to finish with a 4.26 ERA. With allowing 199 hits in 203 innings while also striking out 196. Still impressive at this point. But I mean, at this point, he's starting to kind of look like a one season wonder. But he was still a very elite pitcher that a lot of playoff ready teams needed in their rotation, especially for playoff depth. And after that season, the Pirates, they were out of the playoffs, and they were slowly getting worse that year. They were 4th in the NL Central that year. So Gerrit Cole, seeing an opportunity, gets a chance to, he gets moved to Houston to pitch in their depth, or to pitch as added depth for their bullpen. And since they've added him, he's been worth the money since they've got him. His first season in 2018, he would go on to finish 15-5 in the 32 games that he started. He finished with a shutout. In this 200 innings pitched, he would go on to allow 143 hits and strike out 276 batters. That year, he led the league in strikeouts per 9 innings. He finished with he was named an All-Star for a second time, and he was named fifth in the Cy Young voting. So I mean, at this point, he had gotten back to where he was before, and the Houston Astros that season would go on to be first in the West with 103 wins. More wins in the year in the year that they actually won the World Series, but now they have 100. But they would go on to sweep the Indians in the first round, and they would lose 4-1 in the ALCS to the Red Sox. But up until then, Gerrit Cole was an All-Star for the second time in his career. And last season, his most recent season, his age 28 season, he would finish with a 20-5 record. He would seal the ERA title in the American League. He finished with a 2.50 ERA in 212 innings pitched. He finished with 142 hits allowed. He allowed only 59 runs in those innings. He would finish with the league lead 326 strikeouts. And he would finish with his third All-Star. He would finish 10th in the MVP voting, and he'd finish as a runner-up in the Cy Young to his own teammate, Justin Verlander. And, of course, the Astros in 2019 would end up going all the way to the Nationals and losing to the Nationals in the World Series after beating the Rays and the Yankees in the series that they got there. So, I mean, if you look at a player like Gerrit Cole in this situation, you're coming off a season in which you've proven for back-to-back years that you are, if not the best, one of the best pitchers in the league. A team such as the New York Yankees with such a great bullpen that really needs that starting ace to solidify their starting lineup. I mean, at this point, it looks like a perfect marriage. Gerrit Cole gets his $300 million, and he gets to play for a title contender with good hitters and a lot of good core players, and they still have the best bullpen in baseball. I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees won this short season with Gerrit Cole as their ace and their only really really strong elite level pitcher. But I will tell you right now, as of July 16th, 2020, Gerrit Cole is an elite pitcher, and it took him a second to get here, but I'm telling you, he's here right now. Yeah, without further ado, I really appreciate you for listening to all 7 minutes. But if you ever get a chance, look up my boy Gerrit Cole. He's currently wearing number 45. I don't know if he's wearing 45 for the Yankees, but I guess we'll find out. We'll see what he's wearing, but he'll definitely be pitching opening day for the New York Yankees. A game that if you're a baseball fan and you're probably in that area, you're probably going to watch anyway. It's probably going to be on ESPN and everything too, but if you ever get a chance, watch him. Look at him and ask yourself, I mean, have you ever seen more confidence in a pitcher's command? This man really owns the mound. I think you're really going to love watching him. That's all. Peace out.